Okay, I'm just going to talk to you about the G1 Gold Chanter, which I've received obviously from G1. Beautiful chanter. And what I'm going to do, just give it a quick test some pipes and set against my drones. It's quite sharp. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reset the reed. Now, however, the problem, once you take out a chanter reed, you don't have measurement. Now, luckily enough, G1 have a card with a form of measurement of where the pipe chanter reed should actually sit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the card and just check it against their measurement. Now, what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to use normal hemp for this. I'm actually going to use standard sewing thread. This is nylon thread, which I have added beeswax to make it nice and sticky. So I'll come back to you on that in a sec. Okay, so what I've done now, I've just brought the chanter reed up slightly in line with G1's measurement, which, believe you me, is spot on. So what I'm going to do now, and by the way, I've also filled the gap between the reed and the top of the chanter or reed seat. So what I'm going to do now, before I do anything else, I'm just going to protect that reed and put a reed cap on it. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tape the chanter with chanter tape. Now, a lot of people have issues with taping a chanter. I do prefer tape, especially a pre-taped chanter, because if there's any adjustment to do within the pipe band, for example, an F is sharp, or even an E is sharp, or a C is sharp, you can always just take the tape on the chanter and cover the hole. Now, there is an art to taping a pipe chanter. The very first thing that you do is that you make sure that the chanter is clinically clean. Get rid of any grease by using a product, whatever product that you want to use, obviously a product that kills grease and grime, etc., etc. Now, do also bear in mind that tape will need replacing. So even though you put fresh tape on your chanter, you should check it on a weekly basis, and if in doubt, replace. So the tools I have to hand here are a small sharp pair of scissors and the chanter tape itself. I'm just going to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing, hopefully. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to start off from the high A. Now, tape, I'm not actually going to tape over the whole of the high A at this stage, or any of the notes. I'm just going to start taping above the hole. There we go, just above the hole, putting on the tape nice and tight. And I'm going to do 2 turns. And the technique, of course, is to make sure that the tape goes on level. 2 turns, and then opposite the high A hole, I'm going to cut the tape. About so. Now at this stage, what you don't want to do is push the tape down, because if you do that, when it comes to fine tuning, it's difficult for the pipe major or even yourself to actually grab hold of the tape. So to enable that, you take another piece of tape, which I've pre-cut, hopefully. And you then put the 2 sticky sides together like so. Then once you've done that, you then cut about, I don't know, about 1/8 of an inch to where the 2 tapes are glued together, and that will leave you if I can show you, with a small flap. That flap's very important because that's going to enable, if you're going to move the tape, to enable a clear grip of the tape. Only about 1/8 of an inch. Smaller if you wish, if you've got good eyes. And of course, make sure that the tape does not interfere with any fingering. So that's a high A. Now what I'm going to do now, rather than keep you on here for half an hour or 40 minutes, I'm going to now tape the rest of the chanter, not forgetting what we call the forgotten note, which is low G. Now when you tape in low G, these are the notes here, make sure there's an equal width goes across both holes. Right, okay, so I'll start taping up. So there we go, one tape chanter, noticing tape on the forgotten hole, low G, and every note taped all the way up. The end of the tape is on the underside of the chanter. I don't know if you can catch it on the camera, but you see there are little tags totally on the underside of the chanter, apart from the high A, which is neatly on the top side of the chanter. I've actually checked the chanter to make sure that there's no tape into my dog. Hope he doesn't start barking. To make sure that there's no tape interfering with any of the fingers. So there we go. If you all tape your chanters, it assists, or pre-tape your chanters, it assists your pipe major greatly in setting up the band. If he's got to move an F, all he's got to do is just take off the tape and put it over the hole. And remember, it should be double taped, not single taped. If it's single taped and you do have tape going across the hole, the chances are that the tape can actually sink down into the hole itself. Double taping ensures this doesn't happen. Well, there you go. So I'm going to go away now and continue blowing my G1 Gold Chanter in. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I have forgotten to mention that when you store a chanter, you should actually store a pipe chanter very, very well. And the way I do mine, as I'll just show you just now, take this top off. I use one of these Piper's Pals. Make sure it's nice and firm on there. And also check this as well, just to make sure that there's enough moisture there in the, I call them moisture granules. And what I do, I use one of these that are available from any hardware store. Hello? Yeah, and that fits nicely over pipe chanter. Keeps it safe. And then I use a cardboard tube, and I put the cardboard tube in the end here, which the chanter fits nicely, the top, and then I finally plug the end of the chanter, and there we go. So that chanter is secured nicely in your box. I've got about about 20 of these, and the important thing is to actually label the chanter as well. So that's a good way of storing it in your box. But bear in mind, if you have a Piper's Pal, the end here, make sure that when you put in your pipe box or Piper's sack or whatever, that rests on the bottom of your backpack, so it protects the ending here. I've not thought of a way around this at present. But anyway, so there you go. That's it. Enough from me. Bye bye now.